Welcome back to the channel. It's getting cold. Yeah, welcome back. I'm Louise. For all of the people who are potentially new, welcome. For the people that have been here before, welcome back. And I like to talk about all things auditions and how to do them well. And this week I'm going to be specifically talking about self-tape auditions, so actually ones that you do in the comfort of your own home with a camera stuck in your face and sending it off to casting directors or to drama school audition panels in the hopes of getting a recall in-person audition. And even more specific, I'm going to be running through my top checklist for what you should definitely have in place in order to successfully execute a self-tape audition. Now, if you're brand new to the process of self-taping and you're a little bit lost, then that is totally normal. I don't know any actors who started out on their journey having not done any self-tapes before that just kind of took to it like a duck to water. It takes a little bit of time to wrap your head around. It's a different way of working. So if you're at that stage, then don't worry about it. Everybody has been there, so don't compare yourself to somebody else's middle when you're at the start. If, however, you're finding that it is a really, really big struggle and you're really unsure about what you should be doing and how you should be navigating this, then get in touch with me. I run one-to-one coaching and self-tape's really my jam. So if you're in need of some assistance and some help and some guidance, get in touch and we can sort out some coaching sessions for you so that you are nailing your self-tape auditions from here on out. And of course, like always, if you enjoy this material, if you find the video really useful, then just make sure that you click like and that you subscribe to the channel. It really helps to kind of get this information and these videos out there to more and more people so that more and more people are nailing auditions. But without further ado, let's get on to my top self-tape checklist. That's a mouthful. So number one, it sounds like a really, really obvious one, but it's something that really amplifies stress levels when you know you have a self-tape that you need to submit and there's a really kind of a tight turnaround and the deadline is looming and you don't have a lot of time to actually execute it. Number one on the checklist is make sure that you have full access to your self-taping equipment when you need it. Now, you might just be self-taping on your phone and that is completely fine. So just make sure that you have it charged, that you have a tripod or something that you can rest it against so that you're not having somebody hold your phone as you're taping. Make sure that you have a light source. Make sure that you have all of those things and that you have access to them when you need them. Because there is nothing worse than knowing that you have a self-tape coming up and you usually use somebody else's camera or somebody else's light or microphone or room or space. And if you don't have access to them, then it can really throw people into a bit of a stress tizzy. And self-tapes can be stressful enough. So just make sure that you've got those things. You can just pluck them off of a shelf or take it out of your pocket and then just execute the self-tape without even thinking about, oh God, where's all of my equipment? Again, like I said, it sounds incredibly obvious, but it is really, really going to trip you up if you can't use the equipment, if you don't have access to it, and you don't have anything to back it up with. Number two, make sure that you have access to a quiet, private, neutral space to do your self-tape. Now, the reason you need it to be quiet is for your audio. So if you are using a room that is close to a busy main road, that's got lots of sirens from ambulances or police cars or whatever, or even buses are incredibly loud, then that's not going to be a suitable space. You also want the space to be private because you don't want to be observed by people, because you're going to feel that sense of judgment from them. You're going to feel like you're on edge and you're not going to be able to do the best work that you can. You want an environment where you can try things out and experiment and get curious about the material without thinking that somebody is there observing you and wanting you to get it right. And you want the space to be neutral, and this is specific to your background. So currently I've got quite a busy background. You can see there's stuff out of the window and stuff on the walls and all of that kind of stuff. Now, this is not an ideal self-taping space, but that's okay because I'm not doing a self-tape right now. If I was, I would use a background that was completely plain because you don't want the attention to be on what is around you. You want the attention to be on you. So making sure that your space is quiet, that it is private, and that it is neutral. And again, like the previous point, that you have full access to it when and if you need it. Number three on the self-tape checklist is making sure that you are rehearsing both in front of and away from the camera. So like I said at the start, if you're unfamiliar with self-taping, it can be a little bit daunting because you have to do what you would normally do on stage, but with a camera pointed in your face. Now that's a daunting exercise. So what I would say to do is actually do it in two parts. First of all, go away, deconstruct your scene, deconstruct your character, figure out what is going on and actually rehearse it without a camera being present at all. You don't need it there. For the creation stage of a character and the creation stage of what you wish to do with a scene or with your text, do it away from a camera. It means that you're not focusing on the end result, you're focusing on the creative process. Then once you've got those things in place, that's when you can put it in front of a camera. But again, you're only rehearsing. And I say to rehearse before you actually shoot in front of the camera, in order that you get used to what the frame is, that you get used to the sensation of actually having a camera pointed in your face, but being able to maintain everything that you actually developed away from the camera. And this all happens before you actually push the big red record button. Doing your rehearsal in 2 parts is going to really, really help you, because you've got the creation stage where you're not focusing on the end product, then you put that into the environment where you are focusing on the end product, but you've got something to back it up with by this point. And you know how to navigate and negotiate your creative process within the confines of the technical environment. Number 4, make sure that you have ample natural light. So natural light for self-tapes is 1, completely free. You get it from the sun through a window. And 2, it is flattering light. It's the light that makes you look your best. It's not harsh. And 3, it's even. Unless you have really harsh shadows coming in because you've got lots of things blocking the light source, then it actually ends up being just a very even distribution of light. So regardless of whether you move around in the frame or not, the likelihood is you will be lit. So ahead of time, just make sure that you have a window that is big enough for light to stream in from, that there's nothing blocking it, and that you're shooting at a time of day where the sun is not the highest and harshest in the sky, because that could overexpose your shot and be really, really harsh on your face and actually blind you if you've got the sun directly in your eyes. And the top thing that you need to have when you know you have a self-tape is time. You need time to execute these things. You need preparation time, you need rehearsal time, you need time to shoot, you need time to edit, you need time to upload and send it. Don't underestimate the amount of time that you need. However, don't overestimate it either. Of course, when you're starting out and you've not done self-tapes very much before, then it is going to take you longer to execute. But the more and more you do them and more practiced you get, the easier it will be and the less time you'll have to spend on it. You want to be getting to a place that one self-tape will take you no more than an hour, maybe an hour and a half, from you actually shooting all the way through to you editing and sending it off. Now, each actor is different, so that's why I put the rehearsal stage to the side and not including it in the hour or hour and a half that you're going to spend shooting your self-tape. You can dedicate as much or as little time to your rehearsal process, whatever works for you personally. What I would recommend doing is actually setting yourself a timer of saying, okay, I've got 20 minutes to shoot all of these scenes. I've got 3 scenes set, and I'm going to use that 20 minutes to shoot everything. So you do however many takes of each of those scenes within that 20 minutes. And once the 20 minutes is done, that's you done with shooting. Or you can do half an hour or 45 minutes, whatever is good for you, but knowing that you're actually going to assign a certain amount of time to shooting. So you're not just going, oh, I'll do another take, oh, I'll do another take, oh, I'll do another take, because then all that's going to happen is you're going to end up with loads and loads of different takes that you have to look through and then choose one option for each scene. And that can be really, really difficult, especially if you're a bit of a perfectionist and you're looking to get, oh no, it has to be that, oh no, I didn't like that one because of this. It's going to drive you crazy. So be disciplined with yourself. Give yourself 20, 30 minutes to actually shoot it. Or even say, I'm only going to shoot 3 or 4 takes, because it means that you have to be really, really specific and really deliberate about what you're going to use that take for. It's a really good disciplined practice to start doing that, of actually allotting time for what you're going to do in your self-tape. It also means that the self-tape doesn't take over your entire life. I've known actors in the past that will dedicate 4 or 5 hours to just one self-tape because they want it so badly. And that's not a fault, that's not a bad thing to go, okay, well, I'm going to dedicate as much time as possible in order to get the best result. But in my experience, the more and more you do something in a self-tape capacity, the less and less likely you're actually going to improve from the first couple of takes that you did. You gotta trust your instincts. You've got to actually be able to say, I can nail this in 4 takes because I have the rehearsal behind me, because I have all of the preparation, and I trust what I do, and I trust that I've been brought in for this audition for a reason, and I know what I'm doing. If by the end of 5 hours you're still not getting what you want, then I would actually start to analyze what were you expecting, go back, actually think about your process and why it may or may not be working for you, because that is not a good use of 5 hours. You also want to be able to have a bit of a life. Acting isn't the be all and end all. Auditions are are a means to an end. They are not a job, they are auditions. So treat them as such. Give yourself an hour and a half or 2 hours total with your rehearsal time. Do it, send it, and get on with your life. So they are the things that I would say would be top of the list for your checklist for self-tape auditions. If there are any that you think I should be adding to that checklist, then make sure that you put comments and questions below. And again, if you liked this video, make sure that you click like and that you subscribe to the channel. Thanks so much for watching, and until next time, thank you so much. Bye.